returned again, and today I am really low vibe, honestly. I just have a lot of pain in my face today, so I figured I would just talk about it. This is just castor oil I use on my skin. So I have a lot of face pain today, and a lot of it is coming from this muscle, the SCM. And for some reason my back is hurting. And honestly, when you have pains and stuff like this, the worst thing you can do is just try to figure out why it's happening. Just let it be. Just let it happen. I probably just need to lay down and whatever. But the face pain is something I really wanted to talk about, because after I had shared that I had like this weird experience with my face in 2016, I started trying to piece together not really the cause of it, but really kind of like the timeline of like what happened. And what I kind of came to the conclusion of on Monday night, when I was thinking about it was Monday night. And I came to the conclusion that I really think I started having a lot of issues. My chronic illness started popping up after I got Botox in my forehead. So I got Botox in my forehead the first time in 2016. And I was going through the photos on my phone, like looking over the timeline. And yeah, it was right before I had that facial incident. And a lot of my healing journey and like chronic fatigue and like feeling your feelings journey, like really trying to reset my entire system, has been to do with facial expressions. And a lot of chronic issues, you can see like a lot of people have like really tight jaws, you know, like TMJ and all of that. And people just kind of think this stuff is normal, and then they just get Botox for it, and it's just making the issue worse. So I got Botox only in my forehead, and I did it once a year for 4 years because I really just loved not having this giant wrinkle. But you know what? I stopped doing it in 2020 because I was like, okay, something is really going on here. So I'm thinking about this on Monday night. And then the next morning, I'm getting up, getting ready to go to the store. And one of the channels that I just recently found, which I love, The Mindful Gardener. I love the lady Sam on that channel. She is so fucking fabulous. She's just been like pumping out like Jungian psychology type information, and I just feel so aligned with her. All of the things that she has said about her healing journey and everything is like so in line with mine. And I would have to bet she's got like Libra, Virgo. She just is fabulous. Her style, like everything. I just love her. And anyways, where am I going with this? Why did I say that? Oh, because that morning she posted a video about the emotional effects of Botox, and I was like, holy fucking shit, I was just thinking about this last night. And so then obviously I had been like, oh my god, this is like literally so true. And then I am going to the store with my friend, and she's like, I need to stop by the pharmacy on the way. So we go to like a different part of town so she can stop by the pharmacy, and the pharmacy that she goes to is literally across the street from where I used to get Botox. I was like, oh my god, like this is how synchronicities work. It's like you will get on a trail of something, and then you will be led to clues in your life that prove that you're on the right trail. So yeah, I have this realization Monday night. Tuesday morning, I see the video saying the same thing I was thinking, and then I am like going to a place, you know, that same morning that's right where I used to get Botox. So I was right, obviously. Always am, just kidding. But why this is so important is that a lot of my healing journey has been like making facial expressions. And I know I look so slumped right now. It's because I have to lean up against the wall. My back is like really hurting me today because my face is hurting. I'm just hurting. I'm in pain today. And one of the facial expressions that I find myself needing to make often is like the surprise face. And I know that's why I have this line on my forehead, and I know it's because like I don't believe in getting into the analytics of it, but I have data. So in human design, I was born on the cross of the unexpected. And people born on the cross of the unexpected are like very Uranus dominant. I also have Uranus in the 10th house. And my Uranus is also at 0 degrees, so it's on a vernal point. Like it's like high potency. So God, why do I keep doing this? Where am I going? So I have the data that's like, okay, so I'm a person who is going to always be experiencing like really unexpected things, which, yeah, like I have had so many crazy out of left field moments in my life. And a lot of my, you know, I wasn't able to like express that like, that surprise, you know. One of the big like first traumatic moments that I remember, so when I was growing up, my dad's sisters were teenagers, and when I was 3, my dad's sister, she was 16, she came up and visited us. We lived in Seattle, and she flew in. She stayed with us for like a week. That was like my first time meeting her. I mean, I was a kid. I don't like, it's not like you fucking remember people when you're a kid. But then my parents thought it would be fun and that I might like this. They, like, my grandparents wanted me to go back. And so instead of my parents communicating this with me, like if they would have just told me, if they would have just asked me, you know, I would have felt like I was prepared. But I remember we were going and we were dropping her off at the airport to go. And then my parents are like, guess what? You're going too. And I just remember that shock, like, what do you mean? And yeah, like I'm just going with this person I literally just met, and I'm going on a fucking plane. Like, I don't know, it was really scary. And I, you know, you can go through all the feelings of blame. Like, why would my parents just, why would they think that a surprise is okay? You know, like, why would you like surprise a child with that? Why wouldn't you have a conversation? And a lot of this also, like, my parents are so just like, my parents are heavy on the Aquarius and the Pisces. Like, my mom's an Aquarius, my dad's a Pisces. My dad has Aquarius moon. Like, they're just so like floaty. And like me being like Taurus Capricorn, I'm like, oh my god, you guys are so fucking irresponsible. And so that is like what led me to have these beliefs about my parents, is like they just couldn't like everything to them is just like fun and games, you know, like, oh, it's just fun, we're just surprising you with a trip. It's like, I don't like surprises. I don't. Like, I didn't like not having the autonomy over my own life, you know? Or like, why didn't anyone ask me what I wanted? So fucking annoying. Anyways, I'm not like bitter and resentful about it anymore. You know, you go through the processes of like, okay, they didn't know being this like cute, fun, like happy-go-lucky couple that they were gonna like birth this crusty ass little grandma child. Like, they didn't know that they were gonna get just like the most like old lady in a child's body as a child. So it's nobody's fault. But I've just had a lot of experiences like that where it's like, why did nobody ask me? And why did nobody, you know, I ended up in a situation where I was just totally surprised, and I didn't have the ability to like express that like shock of being surprised. So I believe that's where this line comes from. God, what am I even talking about? My back is just hurting so bad. And I'm sorry if this is really annoying that I'm just like stretching out my face, but yeah, I'm just like having a lot of face pain today. And usually if you have face pain, it's because your lymphatic system is blocked, which is why I'm doing this. So, oh, that sounds so good. Anyways, back to the Botox thing. Because I then had a frozen forehead and was unable to express those like emotions of, you know, like surprise, I really think that's why my health started to decline. So I don't know where I'm going with any of this. Oh, I can just feel that. And a lot of people, they will like talk about how facial yoga and all that stuff, like, I'm sorry, that shit's fucking, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You're not gonna get the results you want by doing massage. Like, true fascia work does not come in like a friction, like a rubbing friction. No, it comes in a very deep, slow, connected, ultimately divine feminine way. Like, just think about it. Like, this is one of my like biggest indicators of like how a man operates, is like if you just watch them eat. And a man that is a pig and eats like really quickly, like, red flag, you know? Like, somebody who actually enjoys the food that they're eating, that's how you know. Don't take my word for it, but pay attention. And why is that? It's because food, like, think about it. When we're born, the first thing that we cry for is to be fed. It's like a primal urge. So, like, how are people handling those primal urges? That's important. That's really important. So another thing about the fascia is like, it works in anchor points. Like, see how I'm just like doing this upper forehead thing right here? Because you're wanting to get down to the level of the meridians, and there are a lot of meridians and stuff that goes on like in the forehead, like right here in the center. Like, if you look at a bald man or a balding man, you know, they usually have that same, like, the same hairline that I have, truly. And like, why is that? Why is it the sides that, you know, why is it this part that stays? It's because it's like the top, like that. This even goes back to like being an infant. You know, we have that soft spot on our head, and if that soft spot doesn't heal correctly, then you'll get all of this buildup that it's just like pulling right there, and that's what makes these parts. So you get all this tension here, and that's why men start losing their hair right here. And this, you can see this staying anchored. You know, you can read all of this. You can read a lot about a person and about their habits and their birth and all of that by all of this kind of stuff. So I like to use, God, I don't know if you caught that, I just totally stabbed myself in the fucking eye. But I like to use this sometimes you need to flare the nostrils. You know, you need to get movement, and you need to see where that movement is connected to other parts. But the surprise thing, so this is like a little esoteric, but like there is really something to the emotional expression of like this. Like when the pupil is like half covered, you know, being in that, like, see how it's like shaking to do that? It's because I need to do that. And I know this is like such a hideous, it's hideous to do. This is why it doesn't sell. This is why you don't see it on Instagram. I'm gonna cover like most of this so you don't have to see it because it's just so ugly. But I'm gonna try to keep this as long as I possibly can. You wanna like burn out the muscles. You know, it's all of this in here. Hold in other places so you're not making. There's a huge difference too when you are just doing this and then you're like raising the. I'm mostly gonna do it in this eye because this one's bugging me, but you know, and then you could think, like, use your imagination. Like, what are the thoughts that you're having about this? Like, some crazy fucking pirate, you know. And like, if all of us as humans, we embody the entire human perspective of everything, and so there's not a single part of us that isn't that, like, you know, every one of us is gonna have this just like crusty, that it's just, it's a part of us. We can't like block it out. But there is something that happens psychologically, physiologically, biologically, when you're halving, you're doing like the half moon of the iris. I know, nobody signed up for this. Nobody wants to see this close-up of my face. But like, this is part of the moving through the emotional process. You have to do these ugly ass things. Like, I have this little, just, you know, just some little mirror, and I will literally just lay in bed and just make like the surprise face, stretch out. And you want to hold these faces as long as you possibly can. You want to burn out the muscles. Like, this is where the burn comes in. Is there's like all this lactic acid buildup, and that's like a wrinkle is there to show you where an unprocessed emotion is. So wherever you have a wrinkle, it's an unprocessed emotion. If you look at people and they have all this going on right here, that's a lot of grief. That's mania. You know, like if you have like the lines coming down, that those are the people that are like manic. You know, it's because they're not letting that emotional completion of mania come through, and there's a lot of grief. You know, those aren't emotions that I have trouble with. The emotions that I have trouble with is like the surprise and the shock, and you know, one of the ones I always had was disgust. The disgust face, you know. So that's why I have a lot of this going on here, is because I haven't like fully processed my disgust. You know, this is why you get the nasolabial folds. It's unprocessed disgust. So you need to feel that really just, and like look at yourself, you know, look at how ugly. Oh, it's so ugly. And just make that face as long as you possibly can. Where is it twitching? I'm getting a lot of twitching right here. And like, this shit doesn't sell, okay? This shit doesn't sell because it's ugly, because it's hard, because you have to keep at it. And it's like, I can't just tell you where you need to do these things. I can't just show you, you know, a quick 5-second clip of like what to do. You have to sit in your own body and you have to feel where the tension is. For me, I feel a lot of tension right here today, and right here, and right here. So I need to focus on where that tension is. And that is like, it's a lot of this on this side, and it is disgust. Sometimes that feels so good. If you just like push a nostril over. So anyways, this wasn't a very like interesting, chatty video today, but hopefully informative. You know, just observe your face. Like, where are you holding tension? Because wherever you're holding tension in your face is the emotion that is unprocessed. So, and this is just like, I think a lot of this right here, this jaw tension that I have, is because I can feel it all the way. See, I'm getting the hiccups because it's releasing. I can feel it all the way up here. One time I was doing this, and I literally on inside, like the inside of my skull, I felt this like, and it was like the connective tissue on the inside of my skull. Like, I don't know what it's connected to. I don't know if it's like holding my brain or what, but it like pulled away from the back of the inside of my skull. And like, these are, you'll hear it. You'll hear these things. You can hear like, you know, the popping and the tearing and the moving and all of that. And honestly, I have these piercings here, and a lot of them probably do bring a lot of tension. I just have not gotten around to getting them removed because, you know, they have to be surgically removed. I don't really want to have scars on my face, so it's still there, but Yeah, I'm just a little low vibe today because I'm just having face pain. But, you know, if you have like lines around your lips, it's because you need to, like, what emotion is that? You know? Judgment. And you want to like over exaggerate it and just be as ugly as possible. Hold that. Like, I look a lot better than I did even a year ago. And that's because I do this kind of stuff. You know, you gotta look ugly to not be ugly. I can feel something under there too. It's kind of knotted. So the theory, the concept is that once you can move all of that stuck emotion from making those facial expressions and you feel them all the way through and then you burn out, you totally burn out the muscle, then you don't have those wrinkles anymore because it's processed. Like literally a wrinkle is an unprocessed emotion. It's showing you exactly where to look. How genius, right? Like, isn't that just so genius? So, you're lucky I'm not embarrassed by this kind of shit. Because I'm gonna give it to you real. Anyways, that's what I got today.